How could I forget? I could not. We were actually sent out to the desert. Well, technically, the totem one we were dropped off by the whole clan, but after that, we were babysat by what's known as the Bone Slayers. They're essentially like just the common soldier or something, because you could replace them fairly easy if need be. But after we finish up our time in the desert, heading off, we run into the Enchantress again, finally making her arrival. So we take on some of the easier ones. Next on the list is dealing with the mark, which was surprisingly easy but not easy. We head off to the lovely temple, in which there is this amazing choice of going in. Shortly before our arrival, some red mantis have made their way in, hiding and hanging out, hoping to run into us before we get the chance to stop them. Looking around a bit, we wander through, opening up a door, and bam! Whole group decides they want to go in. After following us through, they strike us just as we wait, where there was an elevator to the next floor, the slowest elevator. Watching down as we see one of the war priest heading down, followed shortly thereafter. I don't think the enchant's. No, wait. Yeah, no, she was here. Because she was second down the elevator. And as we finish defeating the red mantises, or at least what's left of them, Tentacle reaches in, grabbing one, squeezing it to nothingness. Finding our new chore list to exist, we tell our new friend Trinia to head down the lovely elevator, and the Regis just simply teleported to the bottom floor. Knowing that it was safe down there, he didn't have to care. Unfortunately, her attempts to get there as the red mantis themselves are being plucked off from us, she's also grabbing as a result, and squeezed until she stopped. Unfortunately, she gets that problem until we come back out of there. But entering inside, we run into, I believe, an ancient Thaslian orb that showed the original mapping of the world. Touching it, you enter in, gaining a mark that gave you the ability to do one of two spells, and neither of which we ended up using. There is a free +4 save against mind affecting, which is great. Heading out, we use our luxury scroll of Raised Dead we had for quite a while to bring the bard back, and she proceeds to not want to stay with us for the remainder of the adventure, now having a new fear of death. And shortly thereafter, after she leaves, we run to the barbarian himself. A welcomed help because we would need some fighting forces. Next on the list, we head to House of Moon to attempt to garner respect there. And we find out that the place has become infested by a Red Reaver and its mate. Entering in, we combat it fairly quickly on that one, seeing as our new barbarian friend is back. His slicing and dicing of the enemy is fairly valuable. On a trip through, we make a stop by to Hojan's village to prove that we made an enemy and ally, in which the lovely Thrall Keepers enjoyed thoroughly to know we did. And for the final part of what we needed to do, we head off to Cindermaw's territory. Now, Cindermaw himself is just a purple worm, but it's been exoticized to living in more hot climates, burrowing its nasty giant body, now lamenting its almost lava-like form. A creature so massive and large it's grown outside any form of it. Infused with fire plane energy, it roams around. We requested not to kill, just simply to jump into its mouth and then claw our way out. Now, our conversation on the way there was just simply we didn't realize how big the purple worm was. So we had convinced it that we had sorted out problems individually. Like Rita sorting out the pole problem, the war priest had sorted out getting into the temple. We had we we even convinced the barbarian had done enough work by taking out the Red Reaver. Hell, the war priest also helped with Kojan, so we really sold it off, convincing him that he needed it decided it could jump into the mouth. Arriving there in just the right kind of selling point value, the purple Cindermaw launches out of the ground, grabbing birds out of the air, and then back into the ground. One of those fun moments where you see them all look at each other and go, good luck. An unexpected size difference compared to what we were hoping for to be there. And the enchanter booked it as fast as possible to not be there. Now, thankfully we have the barbarian, who is tough enough to take it on. Steps in, beats his chest, and waves over to the Cindermaw. As the Cindermaw leaps up. Well, sadly, that only came afterwards. What actually happened was the war priest decided he needed to go and be the one to get in there. So, we chose to jump in. And then, shortly a few rounds, he did not come out on his own. And the barbarian followed shortly thereafter in hopes to actually try and retrieve him. And the barbarian very easily broke out, earning us our reputation gain. Within the next round, he had cut himself free. And sadly enough, the war priest got herself stuck in there for a wee bit longer than she expected. A couple rounds in, as we were trying to help sort out the problem, clicking the Rod of Wonder, a fireball hits the lovely Cindermaw, and petrifying him for the next few hours. And we proceeded to break the war priest out, simply enough by chipping the stone out. And we look at the moment and go, Magritas looks over at our new friends to look at them and went, they'll wear off. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Needless to say, that's one last step acquired to sort our problems. Now, heading back to announce our completions of stuff, we head over to the loveliness of I believe it's just the Sun Shaman. Yeah, there's a vision nonsense that we never had to deal with, but whatever. I think after this, we head back to the lovely priest in question. Information provided, turns out they know just as much about those fangs as we do. And the only real thing we hear about is about how there's a sword that helped solve the problem. From the original hero who had it, we gain the information of the sword itself. Not sure what we're going to really do with that problem, but it's here and there. And it's in the lovely local castle known as Scarwall, hidden deep within its recesses. We head back to Thousand Bones to tell of our magnificent adventures and how well it goes too. Celebrating and partying and going. At which point, we hear of the Red Mantis assassins and their lovely approach to keeping us around. And from there, we partied for the night, celebrating our victory, only for it to be stopped short as Red Mantis and Ashwing Gargoyles had made some form of alliance at some point. Readily agreed the Ashwings have come to try and fight us, demanding that they relinquish the party back to them. Our new friends chant with us, demanding them to leave as combat swathes in. Finding out there's a traitor in the midst of even the Shanti. And the slow, unfortunate demise of them goes in. And we lose another friend to this combat situation. For the traitors decided to duel it out. Needless to say, we now know our new goal of heading to the Red Mantis Fort and finding out exactly why they are out this far into the desert. But needless to say, that will be a problem for next time. I will see ya.